Hello everybody and welcome to another Fun Knife Friday. Hey, today we're going to be going over this Improved Muskrat by Shrade. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you why this is a fun knife. Because every time I see a muskrat or I see a trapper pattern knife, it reminds me of my childhood. When I was a young boy, I had the opportunity to go out with a couple older gentlemen and run their trap lines in the wintertime. And then we'd go to the shed and we'd do the skinning and that. And it just brings back wonderful memories. But one of those memories I thought maybe everyone might get a chuckle out of. One day we were out and there was a skunk in one of the traps. Normally the skunks have already sprayed, you know, when they're in the trap, but this one was in a conibar trap and got its neck, killed it instantly, and it hadn't sprayed, so there was no smell to it. So my old friend Elmer, he says, Tommy, and he always called me Tommy, he says, Tommy, let's take her in and I'll show you how to skin a skunk. And so we did. We went in and we were doing the skinning and skinning the muskrats and mink and fox, whatever he'd caught that day. So then it comes time to do the skunk, and of course he's got it hanging up for a couple pieces of twine, got it hung up by the back legs, and he's starting to cut down the back legs and around the tail and this and that. And as he's doing that, he's telling me stories like in the old days, the stink bags out of the skunks used to be valuable. He told me that they used to send them over to France, and because it was so potent, and I don't know how it worked, but because of its potency, they use that as a baseline for a lot of the expensive perfumes. So again, he's cutting around and this and that, and then he starts talking about a story about wedding days. You know, now we decorate the bride and groom's car and this and that, and he said back in the old days, I don't know if he said he and his friends had done it to a friend or what, but he said used to cut the stink bags out of the skunk and put it underneath the springs of the buckboard, and they'd come out, and of course as soon as they sat down on the seat, they'd bust that stink bag. I think if I'm telling the story correctly, I think he's saying he had a friend that didn't talk to him again, or took a while before his friend talked to him. So anyway, we're skinning along, and he keeps saying, Tommy, Tommy, you know, and he finally shows me the stink bags there, and he says, now Tommy, be very careful, you never want to cut into them. And he's still skinning away and this and that, and the next thing you know it. He hit them stink bags, and oh my Lord, did we have a smell inside that shed. And he grabbed that skunk and got it undone, went over the door, kicked the door open, and throws the skunk out. And he always had an old fuel oil stove in the shed. He grabs a 5-gallon can of fuel oil, and he goes out, and I think he emptied that whole 5 gallons onto that skunk to get it to stop. So anyway, that's just one of the wonderful memories that I have there from my childhood. It's great. It's fun to remember. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Well, before I close here real quick, I want to address the fact that like RJ and I think Williams Knife Life, they've been talking about the weather and how hot it is. You know, here in the upper plains, we haven't been over 100, but we've been into the high 90s and a lot of humidity, and makes it really hot. But you know, I always try to think positive. It's not snowing, because I just can't even imagine what it'd be like having to shovel snow in this heat. But anyway, what we're going to do now, I'm going to send you over to Tom in the Indoor Delight studio, and he's going to finish up with a little closer look on this improved muskrat. And of course, as you know, there is a problem being a muskrat, and I'll show you in just a moment. The problem with being a muskrat is you've always got someone in a canoe, like a trapper, that's coming after you. So we'll see you later at the next time we're out here at the outdoor studio. So Tom, take it away. Hello, everybody. This is Tom, and I just want to say, hey, Tom, thanks for that great story and report from the field. Well, what we're looking at here today is the Shrade Improved Muskrat. This is model 787. Now, this was probably made somewhere in the 1970s or later. Of course, it's got a jig Delrin to make it look like a jig bone, but it's Delrin. And a lot of these that I have seen, it doesn't have the bombshell on there. It's like a old timer model, and they had like Improved Muskrat etched on the blade, I believe. And this one may have had it etched on the blade also. However, I did get this at a antique store, and as you can see, this knife, somebody used it well. Somebody got a lot of use out of this knife. But I just thought it was kind of unique to see the, the shield there with the Improved Muskrat on it. Now, what made it an Improved Muskrat, as the story goes, is the original Muskrat pattern has two Turkish clip blades. And you can kind of see that on this. It's a long slender, although a lot of it's been sharpened away across the bottom of the blade. So they would be double-ended jacks because you have a blade coming out of each end. If I can get the other side opened here. There we go. So that's what kind of makes it different from a trapper anyway. Not only the blades, but the trapper is just a jackknife, and this is a double-ended jack. So what made it improved was the second blade, which was this one. It came with a Wharncliffe blade. And as the story goes, a man by the name of Stanley Hawbaker is the one that replaced one of the blades with one of these. Oh my goodness, one of these Wharncliffe blades. Sorry, folks, getting old here. So, as you can see, this one's been broke off. But I don't have another slip joint with a Wharncliffe blade. Closest thing I have to Wharncliffe is on this CRKT spew. So that's what a Wharncliffe blade looks like. Kind of comes down very acute to a very acute point there, and it's straight, even, flat across the bottom. So that's what a Wharncliffe is. So for some reason, why Mr. Hawbaker just thought that having the Muskrat with that Wharncliffe blade on it made it a better knife. So this is still, the made in the USA version. I do have another Muskrat. This is a buck Muskrat. But just to show you, every manufacturer can make its own improvements, as it were. Because on the buck Muskrat, there's that long Turkish clip point. And for their secondary blade, they use a spay blade. So, but it is still a Muskrat. Double-ended jack. So there you have it. Now, the ones that made a cameo appearance in the outdoor report, this is my little buck canoe. Jig bone. Bought it at Walmart, and I think they're still available. And then this is one of the newer Chinese-made buck trappers. And as you can see, the trapper is a jackknife. There you go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I plan on doing some more history or research on the muskrat and the trappers. And there's already a lot of great videos out there on trappers and muskrats, so I encourage you to search around there on YouTube and you can learn more about it. So until next time, everyone have a very delightful day. And hey, help me out here if you would and hit that subscribe button.